Makes you start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares are the best part of my day.
The goods from the wood.
Hot damn!
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
I'm Pat Riley.
This is the good night man of the hour, tower of power, still too sweet to be sour.
What?
Still too sweet to be
There
sour.
we go.
I did not get sour since you last heard me.
And joining us for this episode, rejoining us, I should say, our good friend and new resident to the city of Los Angeles.
Martin Morrow. I'm a power of sour. I took all of his sourness and just turned it into power. I'm a very bitter man.
You got the power of sour tonight.
Yes. I wanted to rain down on everybody.
Life gave you lemons, you made a lemonade, but you put no sugar in it at all.
No sugar, all bitters. It's the angriest lemonade.
I'm just a tall glass of Tom Collins mix.
Yeah.
I'm all sour, no whiskey.
No sugar, less water.
Yeah.
All sour.
Yeah.
It's an astringent day here at Disgraceland.
This is the first time we've been back in the room together for a while.
I'm getting over a chest cold or.
What is a chest cold?
Well, no, just a cough.
Oh,
you
okay.
know, just allergies. So I'm going to sound really awesome during this episode.
Okay.
You might hear some weird noises.
So Martin just moved here from Chicago.
Yeah.
Tell us what you were doing in Chicago before you got here, because I think it's really fucking cool. You're working with Second City.
Yeah, I was on the Second City main stage for about a year. Before that, I toured with Second City for about a year, just doing stand-up in between. And so it was cool to like not have like a day job, just having to rehearse or do auditions and stuff. And then, you know, to just create content and satire and, you know, work with amazing, talented people for a very long time. But it was also a very emotionally and physically draining job because we had 8 shows a week, sometimes 9, sometimes 10. You know, those are 3 hour long shows,
Right.
Of just like sketch and improv. And I'm a very active person, so I was doing a lot of jumping. And,
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
yeah.
I think you might be the first person we've really ever talked to about like sketch and improv, and you were doing it at pretty much the highest level you can. Honestly, as far as that goes, it's kind of Second City and then everything else, right?
There's no number 2 to Second City.
Yeah, ironically, it is definitely not second in that world. So you were on the touring company before that, right?
Yeah.
Where did you go? What were some weird shows that you had to do with that?
We did one show in Louisiana, in Baton Rouge, at this casino, but it was like it was
Awesome.
There was literally it was a casino where it was next to a giant, like, what do you call, steamboat, and in the back rooms we were like in the middle. We were the entertainment, and there were like restaurants and stuff. One restaurant just was called Asia. It was just like all of the Asian cuisine.
Sure.
I guess. And they had like the rest of the stuff and casino stuff, and everything smelled like smoke.
Yeah.
And we had to do improv on this stage that like clearly like third tier rock bands had performed on.
Oh
beforehand.
yeah. For those listening, like as far as like comedy goes, and I can only assume this is the same way in improv as it is in stand up as well. Doing a show at a casino. Especially the later in the evening you get, your audience is full of people who were so drunk on the floor that the cooler had to come over and be like, "Sir, we're going to need you to just sit out for a little while," and then they just give them a ticket to the fucking comedy show and stick them in there.
Patton Oswalt has a fantastic bit about this where he was doing a casino and he had to do the VIP. Did you all have to do the VIP meet and greet ahead of time?
No, we did it, I believe, afterwards.
Okay.
Because no one knew who we were. So they had to see we were funny first. Then like, oh, I want to meet him. Boy, I like that black stuff you were doing up there.
But so Patton Oswalt has a bit about doing the VIP meet and greet, and like every person he met during the VIP meet and greet was the drunkest person he ever met. Where he was like, "This guy's the drunkest person I ever met." No, this guy is the drunkest person I ever met, and it just came in succession. And then his whole set was them yelling his credits at him, and then cheering wildly like "Ratatouille!" It's like, yeah, and they're like, yeah,
Yeah. How did that show go? What was that like?
I mean, we had to do it clean, which was
At a fucking
Weird.
casino filled with smoke and alcohol? Like,
yeah, but I think because it's a lot of old people too, and they don't want to offend the old people. That's basically
Okay.
the one major difference between like sketch, improv, and stand up is there in sketch and improv you sort of have to cater to old people or kids.
Yeah.
and yeah, it was like full of old people and full of like, and then like a random Chinese couple would be there. And yeah, so I mean, it was the show was fine though. We did well for what we could do, and I think it was just mostly improv and music, and we did it for I think it was like a 45-minute show, so it was fine. And then
Okay.
there's another club we went to where they had like a giant country bar or something.
Oh, like a Western themed?
Like there was a giant what do you call it, 18-wheeler, but like the head of the 18-wheeler was inside, so we all took
Oh, the
pictures.
cab, yeah.
The cab, yeah.
Yeah.
So we all took pictures with the cab of this 18-wheeler, and it was
it was just parked in the middle of the restaurant.
yeah, pretty much. It felt like a Hooters that hadn't really found its footing yet, because all the ladies had to wear like the twisted white shirt and stuff.
Okay, where was this place?
Near Baton Rouge, right?
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm going to make a note of this.
Yeah,
We'll go there during Christmas time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because the truck alone sounds worth it.
yeah, yeah.
yeah. If I can find the pictures, I'll send them to you. Good night.
Awesome.
It's one of those places to have like the thing I've seen in more Western bars than anything else that I imagine there has to just be a place where you can buy this is like, we're the world's biggest fan or something, and they'll have a fan where the blades are like 25 feet and it spins all the way around the restaurant. I've seen that in like 4 or 5 different like just Western themed bars that I've been to across the country.
Yeah. Oh, and there's gosh, I feel like it was still Louisiana, either Louisiana or Florida or something like that. No, it wasn't Florida because I didn't go to the Florida trips, but there was some place we went to
They still talk about those Florida trips.
where they were like, "Come see."
You don't want to do sketch at Mikasuki, dude.
They were like, "Come see this tiger that's at a gas station." It's like a gas station
Yeah.
tiger.
They had a tiger in the tank. You know?
Yeah, it was like you get off and it's like the saddest tiger.
It's a real tiger.
Was it
real
Nexon like Tiger? No, one of them has one of the gas stations has a tiger mascot.
Yeah, Exxon.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was like a loose gas station. Like it was one I'd never heard of.
So it was one of them
Unaffiliated, yeah.
roadside attractions.
Yeah, and they were like, "Come if you want to, come check out."
The world's saddest tiger.
Yeah, dude, that tiger looked so. It was like just walking around. Like I don't.
Well, when you have a gas station, you don't have room for the world's biggest fan.
Yeah, that's right.
So you have to buy. It was,
So you need a sad tiger.
what's even funnier? They're like trying to get people to donate money because you could see the tiger. You could just walk by and there's a tiger in this tiny ass cage.
Yeah.
And
They were donating money to get the tiger euthanized.
yeah, I wish.
Yeah, assisted suicide for the tiger.
It was basically like everyone wanted to shut the place down because you can't have a fucking tiger in the
Yeah.
middle of
Yeah.
of bumblefuck Louisiana.
I know a good home for it. Auburn.
Yeah.
That's why we have the Eagles there, because we don't want to pay for a fucking tiger, because that's insane.
But yeah, it was like
That's always been my theory, by the way, of why,
why they don't have-
Auburn is like War Eagle and we have an eagle instead of a tiger. It's because
Nobody wanted to pay to maintain a tiger.
maintaining a tiger is expensive and it's depressing to look at. you know?
it was so like I've
Potentially deadly too.
Yeah.
so many factors of it were like this is depressing.
Unrelated, I just recently rewatched and read about when Scott Steiner came out on Nitro with a tiger.
What? When was this?
It's like 2000. He like comes out with this tiger, and he just like there's the 2 handlers, and he just is like holding the tiger. It's amazing. And the funny thing was that the compressed air from the pyro went off, freaked the tiger out, and it just started like dragging Scott Steiner around. Yeah, it's great.
One of the all-time great performers, the all-time best big men, came from a great wrestling family. Whoa!
It's like Yokozuna died. Whoa, a tiger!
Why?
It's amazing.
Tiger in his tank.
Did Steiner hate Yokozuna?
We're gonna upstage your death with a tiger.
Where's your tickle spot there, Tiger? I'm gonna make you feel good.
It's like you would walk with the largest arms in the world.
That's fucking ridiculous.
It's just like in the middle. It's just some random show, and it's he's coming down the ring for a promo. It's just like he's got a tiger.
So you guys just like stopped at this gas station to get gas, and there was just a tiger there. And
No, we saw signs for it, and we had
oh god, there were signs.
yeah, like come check out this tiger.
Fight my tiger! I dare you. Welcome to Louisiana.
I think we just had some time to kill because we went off road where we're supposed to go. I was like, I want to see a tiger. I want to see this tiger.
This is the beginning of a great horror movie, by the way. An improv team gets lost in the swamps, and the tiger's like the portent of doom to come. You know.
Somebody give me a tiger.
Can I get a suggestion of a tiger's emotional state?
Depressed. All right.
Got depressed. Okay.
Cool.
But yeah, we saw it. It was very sad.
This tiger situation works for nobody, it seems.
No one wins in a sad tiger at the gas station situation, except for Scott Steiner apparently.
What's up? Welcome to my freaky gas station. You pet my tiger. If you want to be satisfied.
I've got a tiger by the tail, it's plain to see. I won't be much when you get through with me. Well, I'm losing weight and I'm turning mighty pale. Looks like I've got a tiger by the tail.
So I don't like smoke pot, or I don't really do drugs a lot. Really, it's not my thing. And we had a 10-day trip to Arkansas. Where we drove to Arkansas.
I didn't even know there were 10 cities in Arkansas.
Yeah, we went to Little Rock. We were doing like a residency in Little Rock.
Oh, you were just in one. Okay, right on.
We're doing a residency in Little Rock, and we had to drive there from Chicago, and then on our way back. So one of the guys in the group was like, "Hey man, I got some shrooms. Not shrooms. It was he had made edible pot brownies." And you could tell even now, like me trying to just explain drugs, like I'm doing it.
Right.
Yeah. He had the
This is going to be interesting.
Marijuana brownies.
Yeah.
So I was trying to like also work out during the time and get in shape, and so I was eating peanut butter to like bulk up for protein and whatnot. So my dumbass put the pot brownie into some peanut butter and like mixed it up, not realizing it sticks to your lungs or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I had frozen.
Sticks to your stomach.
It sticks to your stomach,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I'm no scientist. It all makes sense to me.
He was just giving me a look like, what? What were you doing with the peanut butter? I
gotta stop eating that shit. I can't breathe.
But it sticks in your stomach.
Yeah, it
so.
sticks in your stomach, not your lung. Not bad. So we're driving back, I believe it was a Monday morning, and I was like, oh, I have the rest of this. I'll go and take it. And we had eaten barbecue, and then so I didn't eat. I had eaten before I took this pot brownie. And so I eat it, and at first I'm like, everything's fine. I'm flying. I'm listening to music. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then it starts to kick in of like all these like weird like am I a good son? I don't call my family
oh God.
I don't call my family enough, and like all this stuff, and I start crying in the car and end up throwing up, and then
oh God.
and all started like because another like we all got high in the car together. And then someone else who was in the back seat of the car, we pulled in this gas station. Her high kicked in before my high kicked in.
Yeah.
And then, but as her high was getting real high, my high was kicking in. If that makes any sense?
Yeah.
And so we go to this gas station, and there's this like father and son who are walking into the gas station. And she goes, "Look at that little boy." And I look at him. She goes, "I want to kiss his penis." I was like, "What?"
What?
It was like so weird that I start dying laughing. And then and there's like another like white dad who was on the other side of the gas station. So he because we were sitting in the car, and I was like, "I need water. Someone give me water." And he sees us just like crying and laughing and all this stuff at like boy penises and whatnot. So
yeah.
So that I think that got in my head of like now everyone knows I'm high. And then the car, the driver was too high too, so the car got stuck. It wasn't even stuck in neutral. He like did something with it where it was like neutral but drive, so it had like this weird whirring. So we thought that the car was broken, and we ended up pulling way off into like a cornfield, somewhere in between Illinois and Arkansas, of all places. So I'm crying and like throwing up, and I called my uncle because I was like, I need to talk to a family member.
Yeah.
And
What was that conversation like?
I was like,
Very emotional, apparently.
oh yeah. I go, hey, Unc. He goes, hey, what's up, nephew? I go, all right, so I had a brownie earlier, and it had weed in it, and I'm not doing well right now. And he goes, oh, man, you know you shouldn't be doing it. I was like, look, I know. That's not the talk I need right now. I just need you to talk me down and tell me I'm a good person. Like all this stuff. And there's like existential crisis of me being a bad person and being like,
God.
all this stuff.
If you do not smoke pot, edibles is not a good way to start, and it often gets people in like an emotional, like, I'm not kidding, like
I know,
this kind
yeah.
of situation.
I don't smoke pot, but whenever I drink, I would always do the whole thing where I would get the emotional sort of response, but it wouldn't be depressed. I'd become motivational speaker drunk, where it's just like, you are a good person. I like you. I'm one of those kind of people where it's like, your dreams can come true.
Well, yeah, my uncle just started praying for me, which like is fine. But now it's like God is involved in my highness. And,
Oh God!
like,
yeah.
So now I'm like, well, now he thinks,
Well, he did make the plant, so
It's in the Bible, man.
Yeah.
Your uncle, is he like the generally like the fun uncle? Like, is he? You obviously would call him at a time like this. So
Yeah, he's the one. We have like a good rapport to where I can like call him and talk about that kind of stuff, or like anything else I'm really dealing with. He's like the dude to sort of talk to and be honest with and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, I feel like my fun uncle was married into the family, and they're now divorced, and I haven't seen him in a long time. But yeah, my Uncle Mike was he was real fun. He was the guy who was just like he had a Dale Earnhardt limited edition Chevy Monte Carlo.
Hell yeah.
Drove around and shit.
Hell
Yeah. But,
You said hat. Did he get rid of it?
what's that?
Did he lose that in the divorce?
I don't no idea what happened to him. I haven't seen Mike in years, so who knows? But I feel like all my real uncles, like my dad's brothers, are both just kind of
Did he make you call him
strange math professors.
Did he make you call him Uncle Intimidator?
Yeah. No, but he did. I do remember like one of the last things right before the divorce, he did add the angel halo to the 3 on the back.
Oh God, of course.
When Dale died.
You have to.
Yeah.
Did he have
Nothing but respect for my president.
Yeah, that's right.
Did he have Calvin praying next to him too?
Okay. Dude,
That was always an add-on. That was big.
It's either Calvin praying or Calvin peeing. Those are
Yeah.
the only two options.
Well, if he's praying to Dale's 3, but like peeing on Jeff Gordon's 23.
Yeah, it's 24.
24.
Okay.
He's doing both.
Yeah,
He also
Calvin-
hates the Bulls.
He's got a bifurcated penis, so
Yeah.
he can pee on the Bulls and on 24.
Sometimes you can
and-
get an odd stream like that too. I'm not
and
saying I
Osama
know
bin
from
Laden.
experience,
Yeah,
but-
Osama bin Laden too. He gets some of the pee.
Just someone make that. I know we've
Yeah.
got people who are graphic designers listening to the show. Please make us Calvin peeing on like 20 different things.
and include Bin Laden,
Yeah,
please.
for some reason, Calvin is the redneck R. Kelly. That's like what. I don't know why. I've read all the Calvin and Hobbes books.
He pees.
I'm
you know
familiar
this?
with Calvin himself.
It's unauthorized too.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
only authorized Calvin and Hobbes material is the Buck compilations. All that pissing Calvins,
Yeah.
he ain't made a cent off of.
Yeah, and at least if you want to do something unauthorized, make it cool, like Chronic the Hemp Hog or something like that.
Well, I have seen Calvin and
Or
Hobbes
like-
smoking pot, and it said a day without a buzz is a day that never was.
But I wonder who was the dude who was like, "Yo, I love Calvin and Hobbes, but what if he was horrible?"
Yeah.
What if we just peeing?
I think my theory is that he got Calvin and Dennis the Menace like mixed up.
Well, I know this. He liked Calvin, and he hated probably the New York Yankees or some team or something, and it all just snowballed from that.
I honestly think that he gets like, because it's like a blonde, mischievous kid, and Dennis the Menace would probably pee on stuff. Like he'd pee on Jeff Gordon's number, he'd pee on Osama bin Laden, he'd pee on Hillary Clinton. But I think he got it mixed up and thought Calvin was.
He might have found the picture of
Dennis the
Calvin
Menace.
But the
peeing,
thing
though.
is, I don't think Dennis the Menace was even like he was bad, but he'd like just throw rocks at shit.
Okay,
He wouldn't like piss
Dennis
on
the Menace's
property
mom
and
was
people.
so hot that it was distracting. It was distracting from all the menace that he was supposed to be creating. Because I just wanted his mom to give me a bath instead.
Yeah,
of
they
him.
come from Florida. Okay,
So
makes sense. It's on the state flag.
Is
so
it from a particular panel or something?
no, all right. So I found a website. This unverified. This might be fake news, but it's triviahappy.com. And the person writing this article, first of all, seems to be very salty about the history of Calvin peeing on things. If you're lucky, you've never seen it. The decal that shows Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes going to the bathroom has been stuck on the back of thousands of pickup truck windows. It's a tasteless sticker with many variations that tries to tarnish Calvin's legacy and the reputation of anybody who slaps it on their window. It shows Calvin peeing on, praying to, or grossly interacting. Oh my God, are there others of him humping with things that don't have anything to do with the character? But even though it's tasteless, it has a history.
You know
Towel
that-
up and read off.
You know, there's
Read up.
somewhere where someone has a decal of Calvin pissing on this article.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
or just the author.
It's probably in his inbox.
I love
right
this
now.
first thing. It says a bootleg empire built on Mick tradition. Hobbes creator Bill Watterson says he has nothing to do with the lewd character.
See,
So yeah,
it made a cent.
the birth of P and Calvin details. Spoiler: they probably come from Florida.
Yeah. It's on the state flag. Come on.
It looks like the image comes from one panel of a Calvin and Hobbes.
Was
of
he
him.
peeing?
No, he's
He's masturbating.
No,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
He's leaning over. We'll put this on our Twitter. We're at the Goods Pod. He's leaning over, filling a water balloon, which then throws at somebody in the next panel. Yeah. Anyway, let's see.
This is an educational show. Let's
yeah.
be honest.
No, it's difficult to know exactly where they began, but the first media mention comes on November 26, 1995. Reporter Tom Zuko described a, quote, 25-foot motorhome with a sign showing Calvin of Calvin and Hobbes urinating on the letters FSU. The urinating Calvin was part of the University of Florida State University rivalry. So that's apparently where it came from, was somebody took an image from one of the early panels of the comic strip and then had him peeing on the Seminoles.
Yeah, on his motorhome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Back of the motorhome. That is the thing I've always kind of wondered about, and I love how mad this the person who wrote this article is
Yeah.
about it. Phil Edwards.
Yeah,
is the
because
guy's
he's a
name.
sentient version of NPR.
I feel like when we run out of biopics about famous black musicians, this is going to be the next thing. Because like
The guy who invented the Calvin and Hobbes
being,
Calvin pissing on stuff.
there's gonna be like a moment where it's the doo 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 and showing him like cutting out the Calvin, like this is the one, and then putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm waving my dick in the wind. I'm waving my dick in the wind. If it all goes right, I'll be in your arms tonight. But I'm waving my dick in the wind. Waving my dick in the wind. I'm waving my dick in the wind.
I saw a truck one time with an amazing airbrush on the tailgate. The truck was a Chevy Avalanche, and on the tailgate was the truck it was on.
So it was like Infinity.
Sort of, but it was in a desert fighting a scorpion. Like it was.
What?
It was.
So that's the truck's previous adventure.
Exactly. It was. I remember it was parked, and Martin will appreciate this as an Auburn man. It was parked in the parking lot in front of the goalpost almost every day. The goalpost is a liquor store in Auburn,
Wow.
and it was a Chevy Avalanche, and on the tailgate was a desert scene. It's like the Sonoran Desert with a gigantic scorpion and the same Chevy Avalanche, presumably about to fight. So
Jesus.
yeah, so there's some creative people down there. I
Like, what
don't
a
doubt that it
weird-
does come from Florida.
Why a scorpion? Of all the desert creatures.
I don't know. maybe
Well,
you
because
just like
it's the
scorpions.
desert creature with the sting.
Yeah.
And if you want your van to really, be up to the metal, it got to fight a giant scorpion in the
Yeah, or a
desert.
dragon.
Or a dragon, or a tarantula.
Or a wizard.
Might
Yeah.
be good. But Darth Vader and Clint Eastwood, I think, were also popular fan art.
What? Really? Back in the 70s?
Back in the 70s, yeah, the wolf.
Is it cool if I talk about this? Good night. Can I break the news to Pat since we're on the air?
All right.
So I got a text. I got a text from.
I just want to say this. You're right, brother, because you are straight edge. Because I get way too high, and it makes me make bad choices, and that's what this is about.
Yeah.
So I got a text. This was 7:22 Friday evening
Okay.
from Mr. Goodnight. It says, "Don't tell Pat this, but you're right. Steely Dan is awesome."
Oh.
I got a convert.
Okay.
I got a convert.
I can explain this. I can explain this.
Bop, bop.
It's your favorite foreign movie.
Bop,
Yeah.
bop, bop. Bop, bop, bop.
Yeah.
I seen your picture.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Your name and life's above it. This is your big debut. He looks terrified.
It's like a dream come true.
I'll try to do the Michael McDonald in the background.
Smile for the camera. Oh, I know you love me better.
I don't have the headphones.
Oh, I know. Pat doesn't even have the headphones on. Anyway, good night. Tell us what happened.
Well, boys are in town.
That's where it all
We've been hiding the fact that we're eating pizza during this.
It's lunchtime. We're hungry.
Courtesy of Pat, too. Thank you, Pat. You're
Thank you,
super. You're real super,
I
man.
have breadsticks, but they're in a bag, so that makes
Bag of bread. It's the noise of a bag of breadstick. But now down the boys, Jay Garrett, who's on the show.
Yep. Former guest of the show, Jay Geary.
My friend Johnny Laughable's in town. We smoke a lot of pot, and on satellite radio, they had this thing, Yacht Rock Radio.
Yeah. That's a great. I love that station.
It was, you know, that painting of the dogs playing poker.
Yeah.
Picture 4 dogs sitting around a table playing Nintendo pinball and passing around a blunt, listening to just Yacht Rock Radio, and you will understand where I just stopped pretending I didn't like Steely Dan anymore.
The charade is over.
No, here's the thing. Look, we were really high, and Pop makes you do stupid things like this, as you know. But you know,
Instead of calling your uncle,
I just admitted I like Steely Dan. It felt like I'm doing something wrong. It still does feel like I don't know if we can say this on the air as long as it's not a brand name. I feel like I got my dick out or something. But we was just like Steely Dan. I mean, because here's the thing. I all their songs was about college. I like my rock music to have as few words as possible about stupid things in it.
Yeah.
And all their, you know, Doonesbury type, like a cutesy literary and drug chic stuff. I was never interested in all the college stuff.
Yeah.
But their groove when you are high is just so good.
So good.
True.
And Deacon Blue still has good lyrics, man. Because you ever been to a racetrack, you know what it feels like. Because they got a name for the winners in the world, and it ain't us, man.
Yeah.
Hey, if you've ever dated a younger girl, hey 19, that sticks. To
Yeah. She don't even know who Aretha Franklin is.
You know Aretha Franklin.
We're killing Pat over here. Oh,
That
man.
song is about a liberal arts school. There are some exceptions, right? But I
Yeah.
have a principle that I like music that doesn't involve people that went to a liberal arts college. All right.
Okay.
The only exception is Kathleen Hanna, and she did drop out of Evergreen State University, but
I don't know who that is.
from Bikini Kill and
okay.
and Tigre and
Never
stuff.
mind. Yes, I do know who that is.
Yeah, but if you
Dropped out.
But if you went to a liberal arts school, I've got no time for your music. And those where they go to Bard or Skidmore or some shit like that. Vassar. They sound like Vassar guys.
I mean,
But they're on the, you know, it's different. It's on the cusp of new wave.
yeah, and they've got such good grooves, Pat. The grooves.
When you're stoned and they come on, it's real fun, man. Real fun. And that one is good too. My old school.
Oh yeah, I love that song.
The brass and the guitar parts on that are bitching, man. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Dirty Work. That's probably my favorite.
It's better than the Rolling Stones' Dirty Work because that one was terrible.
but but it can't be as good as the Norm Macdonald Dirty Work. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah, well
Yeah.
nothing could be.
That was better than the Rolling Stones' Dirty Work too. But Rolling Stones didn't put a high standard with their dirty work.
What?
They didn't put a high standard with their dirty
okay.
work, except for the cover. Because if you ever seen the cover of the album "Dirty Work," it's the most 1980s datedest thing the Rolling Stones ever did.
Which one is that one?
It's the one where they're trying to look like New Kids on the Block.
Oh yeah.
And so they're sitting on a couch, and Charlie Watts don't have shoes, and they all have like
It's super pink and blue.
J.C. Penney type clothes on, that kind of shit.
Yeah. I remember you and Chris Davis both were Steely Dan, Michael McDonald fans, right?
Oh, loved it. Yeah, we went to a Michael McDonald concert together too.
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
you didn't know this story?
Maybe I do, because I remember when we were doing my old show back in Auburn was called Bellwether Variety Show, and that was like one of the first things that, because I was super getting into Steely Dan and Michael McDonald like right around the time when I started doing that show, and I remember that was the first thing that I think like that I really had a long conversation with you and Michael McDonald, Jesus, Chris Davis about was Michael McDonald, which I think you guys might have just gone to that show at the time.
I know we went to the show in 2012. 'Cause
Yes.
I remember I was living in Chicago.
Would have been pretty close to that.
Yeah, and because I took a bus took a mega bus down, and it was
I took the Wolverine down.
it was a horrendous trip.
Yeah.
But well worth it at the end. And I got to meet Michael McDonald too.
What?
Whoa.
They
Yeah.
had a celebrity meet and greet?
That were like very exclusive. Like my mom worked at the school that he was performing at.
Oh, okay. What school was it?
It was in Anniston.
Oh, okay.
It was the Anniston High School, but like they have a theater that's really big.
Oh, like like a performing arts center kind
Yeah.
of thing. Okay, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And it was he was a nice dude, and I like no one expected me to, because I was the youngest person there by several years. And I was like up and singing all the songs and stuff. And I remember this old white lady who sat next to me. She was like, "You just knew everything." I was like, "Yeah, why wouldn't I know the God that is Michael McDonald?"
Oh man.
And he had like different renditions of songs too that were like equally like as if he was like, "Yo, I like what I'm doing with Yamo Be There, but what if
Yamo be there.
Oh, they played the shit out of that one on Yacht Rock
They
Radio.
do.
Yeah.
You've listened to it too, Rivers?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, we could have passed around a blunt listening to this shit.
I remember he did a different rendition of "It Keeps You Running" where they did like the backing track was different, and even how he sang it in some ways, like it was more like, no, it's really fucking keeping you running, like that's how he sang it, and I
Yeah.
And the other thing Michael McDonald does is just deliver with such a passion.
yeah.
Was Yamo Be There was it made for a movie originally, or was it made for a James Ingram album, or was it made for a Michael McDonald
I think
album?
it was
Ingram,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's
Because it was supposed to be like if I remember correctly, it was supposed to be like a Christian song. Like it was supposed to be like I think it was supposed to be Yahweh Be There, but they were like, "Yo, this will not sell right now,
Yahweh
dude."
Be There.
Like people are out here trying to get AIDS. Can you guys like maybe cool it on all the
Yahweh Be There.
God stuff? So he was like, "All right, how about Yamo Be There?" So the rest of the lyrics still sort of pertain to like talking about God and stuff like that, but now it could be about friendship as well.
yeah. Oh, this is a great one. What year is this?
85 probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. I could tell by that drum tone, that drum
Yeah.
machine that they're using.
This is what I would call like there's a subcategory of yacht rock. There's yacht rock, and then there's like what I would call my friend Johnny Mose and I came up with the term knocked yacht, like yacht rock at night. Like it's kind of
Ooh.
got minor chords, kind of a little bit more intrigue, like a
Yeah.
Miami Vice, like creeping around with a gun scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yacht rock after dark.
Knocked yacht.
It's interesting to bring up because yacht rock really isn't like a genre. It's like a style.
It's a way of life.
Yeah.
It is a way of life.
Yeah.
But it's not even a word that was used when all these bands was going on.
No. This was
None of them owned a yacht.
Yeah. Well, they.
Well,
Cap-
some of them, I think.
Captain and Tennille, because he was a captain. You can't be a captain and not own them.
Tennille's from Auburn, by the way.
What?
Yep. That's like
you
our
go.
second biggest celebrity alumni behind
Charles Barkley.
Charles. Well, I mean,
Bo
wait,
Jackson,
what-
yeah.
outside of athletes, I
Oh,
guess.
okay.
Yeah. We got her and Jimmy Buffett went there for one semester.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Oh, Yahweh be there. Up in the
Yahweh be there.
That makes sense now. I thought it was just cool, hip soul jive.
That's what I thought he was just trying to say, like, yes, I will be there.
I thought it was
but
like, I'm going to be
Like,
there.
I will be
and he
there.
wrote it in that cool, like,
Yahweh
you know,
be there.
It was like before they had that kind of speak like Prince and all that. He wrote it like phonetically, like that. Like, Jamo be there.
Right.
Even
what I
I think
thought.
even like the opening lyrics, like "Heavenly Father, watching us fall," right?
Oh, okay.
You're right. You listen to the lyrics. That's smart. I just grew out to this shit.
just
that's a long, hard road. Never brighter
yeah.
day.
So, did you grow up listening to this kind of stuff, or you just
No,
picked it up along the way somewhere?
I grew up listening to like All for One. That was like
okay.
That was the first
All for One.
The first CD I ever bought was
Hell
All for
yeah.
One, and my first concert was Lou Bega.
Well, all right, stop. We need to hear everything.
How many times did he do Mambo Number 5?
Well, there's the ice cream song. Come on.
They all sounded like Mambo Number
They all
5.
did.
Yeah, they all
Remember
did.
that thing in Stuart Little? It was just Mambo Number 5 without a bunch of girls' names up in it.
Well, you know what I found out? Because it was also the shortest concert ever.
I bet. And I bet I can guess the year. Was it 1999?
I think it was 98, 99, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah.
He opened with Mambo Number 5. We all lost our goddamn minds.
Yeah, I bet.
He did one song in between. We were like, we don't know what this is. then he
I'm going to hear some Bega deep cuts while we're talking
They
about
all
ice cream
sounded like
song,
Mambo
dude.
Number 5 because there was the one that was just Mambo Number 5 with different words. And all the things that you can do. 1 and 2.
But then he does this. He does the second song, and he goes, "Y'all want to hit Mambo Number 5 again?" And we're like, "Yeah!" And then he does it again, and then he leaves. Like, that's, and what I found out like years later,
That's amazing.
years later, I found out that he would do like multiple concerts in a day because like he knew that that money was his time was gonna run out. So he was like,
That's called German efficiency right there.
Yeah.
He was German.
He's like he's not even like
German.
Cuban.
He's not even Cuban.
Yeah.
He's German. He's a German guy.
Like a dark German dude.
Yeah, no, his name is his actual name is Lou Bega, like Lubega, and then when he got his stage name, he just turned it into
Lou Bega.
Lou Bega, yeah.
Oh, like Robert Rex Steiner became Rick Steiner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is
Lou's Cafe.
This is Lou's Cafe. I've never actually listened to this record. I've heard the song, obviously, the one song.
Oh
like-
no, this
there's-
album's a hoot.
Yeah, there's actually one other song on there that's actually kind of good.
Which one?
I can't remember it, but I know.
Hot outside, so for me it is a brand new day that I shall kiss. And if you feel the same way too,
He was smart to know that this wasn't going to last
I'm
long.
gonna do. All we need is a mobile phone.
This sounds like a PBS Kids.
All this crap.
Yeah, it sounds like if Randy Newman was singing a song on Sesame Street.
All the crap that this guy did sounded like background music from a cartoon. Even his jazzy number sounded like a goddamn Heckle and Jekyll cartoon or something.
There's one on here. It's called "Can I Tico You?"
Yeah.
Sounds dirty.
Tico took that pussy, girl. Like, whoa. Sort of things got dark for Lou Bega. That was just like MC Hammer pumps in the.
Whoa, this was his funky headhunter.
I wasn't far off.
You know the bomb ticks. The only style I play is myself made.
Wow. All right.
Sling Mambo Number 5
So I was
again.
gonna say, so he played "Can I Tico You?" and people were just like, and he was like, "Do you want to hear Mambo Number 5 again?"
Yeah.
But yeah, so you your first concert was Lou Bega. Where was that?
That was in Birmingham.
Oh,
I can't
okay.
remember where it was though.
That's incredible that he could. Oh,
County Fair?
It was something out
Car dealership opening?
I know it was an outdoor thing. I remember that.
it was the park.
Yeah. And then my second concert was Genuine. To
Oh,
like,
hell
Whoa,
yeah.
that's amazing.
and I remember he like ripped his shirt open at one point, and like all these girls lost their minds. It was like me and my cousin Brandon.
Yeah.
We were like the only two like young boys there. So we looked so out of place.
It was just like a bunch of like college age girls booty dancing. I'd
College
imagine.
age teenage girls booty dancing, and like me and this other child.
Yeah, just like yay, we love Genuine.
Yeah.
Just a wash in estrogen.
Oh my god,
It could be nice to clean up in a situation like that.
Yeah, if we weren't 9, then we probably
Yeah.
would have done.
Well, you know, that's like we don't just say it always happens when you're too young to give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I remember about I can't tell you a single All for One song. All I can remember about All for One is that
I swear.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! I take that back. I do know that song. The main thing I remember them from.
I had many pained moments at middle school dances to that song. High school dances, too.
And now, just recently.
Yeah. In the car.
Car dances.
Car dances. Car sock ops, yeah.
There was a while there where it was on the back of the High C juice box. If you like redeemed a code, they would send you their mix CD. And the 3 artists I remember being on there were All for One, Robin, and Imagine.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember them? Like it was spelled like MAJIN or something.
I don't remember them.
What song did they do?
If
Yeah,
you
that
if you remember anything of Imagine, it would be this song because it was on
It's still playing.
You may remember Imagine Best for Mambo number 5.
it was this was on
Oh yeah, these guys.
yeah, this was on Now That's What I Call Music Volume 1.
You might know them as Shitty Blackstreet. Oh. I don't know if I remember this
Do you
song.
not? It was definitely, I think it was track 2 of Now That's What I Call Music.
Well, I didn't own.
Doesn't this
I
sound
didn't
like what a
own
lot of stuff sounded like back then?
Oh yeah, definitely. But anyway, that's what I remember. All for One being was they were featured on High C juice boxes along with Imagine and
They're
Robin.
also on the Hunchback of Notre Dame soundtrack.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, they had the like title song.
So you know who these guys are?
I don't know who they are. I don't know who the fuck Imagine are.
This is just me.
I-
It was on High C. See, you're younger than I remember. So in my day, we got Rudy Valley records off of High C
because
boxes.
I know this era of music pretty darn well.
Yeah.
And they flew under the radar. Jesus.
Honestly, when I leaned up to see the album cover, I thought that was Soul for Real and You're Being Racist. I was like, that's Soul for Real. What are you talking about?
So
Candy Rain. That's not, oh no.
So for real.
Also, I was like dumb as a kid. I'm still dumb, but as very dumb then. And I remember just reading it as Imogen.
Yeah.
I was like
they're all from
I
Wales.
was like, who's Imogen?
And they're wearing like the bootleg,
Shark skin jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to get real shark skin.
like some of that stuff you'd buy at like Goodies or some shit, where it would just have like.
Sam Goodies. Holy shit.
Well, no, not Sam Goodies. Goodies.
Oh, goodies, records, and tape.
No, like the place that's like a Mervin's. It was like Southern Mervin's.
Oh,
Yeah, and it would just be like, it would just be that jacket, and it would just say like Paco across it, or Fucci or something.
Do you guys ever wear the Big Dog t-shirts?
yeah. I don't think they crack me up because they are so funny, and that dog got Bin Laden so many times.
I didn't own any. I didn't own any big dogs, but I did have my share of Chump, which was like the bootleg No Fear. Where it was like a stick figure on a skateboard with baggy pants, and it's just like skateboard like a champion, Chump. Like you can.
Chump's not even like a good.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's
It's
not cool. There's
Yeah,
nothing
no,
cool
it's
about
This
Chump.
might have been an ironic thing.
No,
was this
it's-
a hipster fashion? Was this skateboarding?
No, this was like, I'm a competitor. Like, and I'm in middle
I'm a
school.
fucking chump.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's there. I'm not making this shit up.
It was Chimp big when you were in middle school. I know, like Goose Dumps and things like that were really big back
Chump.
then.
Yeah.
Goose Dumps.
'Cause it was-
the dog that would go into Buck's Wishbone. Wasn't that big?
Well, no, because it was like when it came to
Wait, what is Goose? Oh, Goosebumps.
Goose Dumps, those scary Bucks.
the kind of family of T-shirt things. There was like Big Johnson and Co-ed Naked. Yeah. If you're grown, right?
I always thought those
There's-
were kind of dirty.
There's No Fear, but underneath that you had Chump, which was like,
Oh, I see. Yeah, when No
Yeah.
Fear was big.
Yeah,
it was like the
one of
knockoff
those
of
sort
like
of
No
things.
Fear.
But
and
it
that
was
stuff.
like, it wasn't as like aggressive. It
I
was
get
more
it, though,
like
but
for
you
the kiddies.
You kick ass, but in a middle school kind of way.
Exactly.
So you
Were you
kick
Skater
butt.
Boy?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean they had ones
See you
with
later,
like
boy.
football and stuff. I just remember the one with it's like a stick figure, but he's randomly wearing baggy ass cargo pants. Like it's what you'd get if you want to look cool, but you're still shopping at fucking J.C. Penney's. It's like, no, Ma, I do not want another Garfield shirt. Come on.
Mom, I don't care if the monkeys shopped here. I don't want this shit.
What am I doing hanging around? I should be on that train and gone. I should be riding on that train to San Antone. What
I started doing like videography work.
Oh yeah, that's right, for Eagle Eye, right?
For Eagle Eye, and I would just, and then also just
Cherry?
because we were in the like.
Eagle Eye Cherry, yeah, that was the third concert.
Was he the guy that did that song, Rockabye?
No, that's Sean Mullins. He did.
Eagle
Save
Eye Cherry
Tonight.
was.
Yeah.
Isn't it? You know what it's like to play the blues.
No, that's Everlast. Eagle Eye Cherry did Save Tonight.
Yeah, brother.
Fight break
Baby,
of
it's
dawn
time to
comes
leave tonight.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Brother of Nana Cherry, son of avant-garde jazz trumpeter Don Cherry.
I didn't realize the Cherry family
The
fell
Cherry
so far from the
dynasty,
tree
yeah.
there.
But no, Eagle Eye was the student news TV station at Auburn. It was right next to Weagle. So yeah.
Because a tiger would have been more expensive.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
that's I saw Citizen Cope. At
Okay.
Auburn.
Yeah, I remember them.
And then I got asked to film a Yin Yang Twins concert.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
at a, yeah.
I wanted Yin Yang so bad at my school.
Oh man, but it was at a fraternity party. So this is like the fall of Yin Yang Twins.
This is the downslide.
The downslide.
The 0708 downslide.
And they had like two local openers. One dude is a white rapper named YT. So he was the one who's like, "Hey, come film." I was like, "Yeah, I got you." And so somebody had this. I remember these like four like white girls walked up to me. Like, "Hey, are you one of the Yin Yang Twins?" And I looked nothing like any of them. And a friend of mine was like, "Say you are." So I was like, "Yeah." Well, and then I felt bad for lying. And I was like, I'm like more so one of the, because I was like, they're gonna figure it out when the Yang Twins are up there.
Tell them it's special effects and there's only one.
I'm both Yin Yang Twins, actually.
I told him
I'm a duality.
Like, you remember that video where Desiree had like four of her in the same song? I thought that was a group. But yet I thought there was only one proclaimer, and that was special effects. So you can do that with a group in a song, and these guys might not actually be twins.
they're not. I think they're like cousins or something.
You should have cleaned up, man.
I know. Yeah. Instead, I just said that I was one of the entourage of the Yang Twins.
And did you get some from them?
No, I ended up making out with one of them. There was a girl.
That's good enough.
Yeah, there's a girl who was like, "My name is Tits," and I was like, "Yeah, but what's your real name?"
My name is Tits.
They like went through their nickname. She was like, "My name is Tits," and I was like, "I wonder why." She was like, "Really, is Madeline?" I was like, okay.
One of the girls at the
what a
fraternity
pretty
party,
name.
you mean? Her name was Tits?
Yeah, she was like, "My name is Tits." I was like, "Okay."
Tits, if you're out there and you're interested in an older cowboy, call the show.
I think she lives in Georgia now.
I was going to say.
Okay, yeah, my mama lives there. I'll be down there probably around Christmas time.
Yeah, we'll be down for Yellowhammered. We might see you down there.
But I mean, you got dibs because you guys have a past. I don't want to stand in the way of reuniting an old flame here.
Oh shit!
Absurd.
Yeah,
That's absurd.
So yeah, me and Tits made out in the hallway of her dormitory, and then I had to walk home with a bunch of camera equipment.
Hey, it's
Really good.
chalk that night up to a
Sounds
win.
like college life.
Yeah,
And also,
absolutely.
the concert got like they did 2 songs, and the police were called. So like, they didn't even.
Sting was there too.
yeah. It's fucking.
I imagine one of them is that Pitbull song where they guested on it and they just played the Pitbull parts, like just the music, and they did karaoke to it
I don't know
essentially.
if Pitbull was around yet.
No, they
he
had
was,
a song with Pitbull.
Oh, really?
He had 305 Till I Die.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I just don't know anything. The first time I ever became aware of Pitbull is when a bunch of people voted him to go to a Walmart in Alaska.
What?
Do you know about that?
No. What is this?
Pitbull did this contest where basically he was partnered to release his new album with Walmart, and so he asked people to go online and basically was like, okay, if enough people vote for your town, I'll come play a concert in the parking lot of the Walmart in your hometown. And of course, the internet got a hold of it, and they voted him up and sent him to a parking lot in Nome, Alaska. So they sent him to like the middle of fucking nowhere,
Oh,
the most
God.
like distant Walmart possible. And to his credit, and I don't know anything about his music, but at least he fucking went and he played the concert, and it did look kind of awesome. Like, he
Yeah.
was
How did the people react to that?
the
Probably
peop-
well.
Not a goddamn Puerto Rican in here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
In a suit talking about Mr.
worldwide.
I mean, yeah, I think it's safe to say pretty much everybody in this town under the age of 20 was there, and then but they seemed like they were having fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
but
That's good.
yeah.
But instead, in Auburn, the freaking cops had to come before the Yin Yang twins could finish "Whistle While You Twerk." It's like
Yeah. They didn't do any hits.
really,
Yeah.
they were doing deep cuts.
They did. I remember
Did they do Mambo number 5?
Yang Yang Unplugged.
They did the first song they came out. It was like, I guess they're like, we're gonna pep y'all up song.
Yeah.
So it was just them like, yeah, yeah. Like the beat was sick, and then they like launched in the second song. Then like all the music stuff was like, hey, yeah, the cops are called, and they just laughed. Like, oh,
That's awesome.
Oh no! You go to a lot of
probably got paid.
concerts where the guy takes some excuse to get off stage earlier.
yeah. Maybe it's me.
I know you've seen a lot of incomplete concerts. How many complete concerts have you been to?
Michael
Vis-a-vis incomplete ones.
Michael McDonald.
Yeah, Michael McDonald. That was the one.
And I did
And
see-
all the others ended
Consummate
early.
professional.
Yeah, well, I saw Doobie Brothers without Michael McDonald once in 2002, 5. So no, I was in college. So
Who was in the Dubes at that point?
I remember they had their bassist was named Skylark. So I remember being very excited that they had a black bassist.
Okay.
And they were like, this is Skylark, and he sang some of the McDonald parts, not well, but he sang them.
He gave it the old college.
Did they have Skunk Baxter at that point?
He was, I think.
So then there was 2 people with animal nicknames in the band at that
Yes.
point.
Yes, I distinctly remember Skunk.
He's hard to miss because he looks like that guy from WKRP, kind of.
That's always like this when you like even in that group. Imagine.
Yeah.
You're like, where are they now? Like I was
Imogen, please.
Imogen. Imogen.
Imogen.
You always wonder like where are they at now?
Where's VH1 to tell us this shit these
Oh, I know.
days?
Yeah, I remember. I don't know. Like that's one of those things where it pretty much nothing would surprise me if you told me like, oh, that guy's working at a toll booth. I'd be like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh, he's the highest up A&R guy at Capitol. You're like, okay, yeah, like
He found his true passion of whittling spoons.
Well,
yeah.
no, my favorite one was on Where Are They Now on at VH1. They were doing Dexy's Midnight Runners, and like one of them I think was like a college professor, and but then they went to Kevin Rowland, who was the lead singer, like the guy that's like the real hairy guy
with the overalls and
Yeah. Well, they all had overalls. And
Oh, yeah, I guess they did,
And it
yeah.
just cut to him, and he's just like, I like wearing dresses because they make me feel pretty. And he was just like gaunt. He was just wearing a dress, and it was just like,
all right.
whoa, you no pussyfooting around. You just got it.
Oh man.
This is who I am now.
So we have a segment every week. It's called The Goods from the Woods Hall of Fame, and I think it's Pat's turn.
I
to
skipped a week.
Yeah, we skipped a week.
So,
Who do we got going in the hall this
well,
week, Pat?
I think that it's only fitting. I was between 2 people, given the turn of events over the past couple weeks. First, I was thinking about doing Grant Hart from Husker Du, or in fact, doing the entire band Husker Du.
Yeah.
But I'll leave that off for a second because I think that it's necessary, given the turn of events and how important he was as a figure, that we bring into the Hall of Fame Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So
Well, you remember this music was the music that played when he coronated Harley Race, the king of wrestling.
is that right?
Yeah,
No
and
kidding.
Haku, and all those kings for a long time.
Yeah.
in that lineage.
We just we selected this because it's what the king always comes out to in wrestling, and I was like, it sounds like a Hall of Fame
It
music.
started with Harley Race in I think it was it 86 or 7 when Heenan coronated Harley Race, the king of
I
wrestling.
think it's 86 or something, yeah.
Yeah. I brought up Bobby the Brain Heenan on a past episode, just acknowledging his passing. But
Yeah.
I'd love for you to speak about it, Pat.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, I think all 4 of us are wrestling fans, and all 4 of us fashion ourselves funny people, and 3 of us, we're podcasters, so we're technically broadcast journalists. But Bobby the Brain Heenan, for those of you that don't know, is probably one of the most entertaining and pivotal figures in the history of modern professional wrestling. He was a manager of champions, and he was the funniest. He was a villain. If you wanted to make somebody a villain, automatically you team him up with Bobby, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But Bobby the Brain Heenan is without a doubt one of the funniest people, I think, in the history of television. Like just as a just his comic timing, his the little barbs he did between him and Gorilla or him and Vince McMahon. But like even like the physical aspect of it, because his whole thing was that he could like be when he was healthy, he could get bumped around and dropped everywhere, and he was like he would take the punishment because
and nobody sort of exude like cowardliness.
Oh, yeah.
in his
He was a good worker in the ring too.
Oh, yeah.
he worked so well in the ring that I, as a kid, always thought he was one of those managers that was an ex-wrestler.
He was actually. He initially started out as a journeyman wrestler, but he decided to. He was like kind of in the ring, and he would occasionally wrestle like matches like in Japan and stuff like that.
Even later on, he would occasionally like do handicap tags and stuff, and you could tell he could take bumps well, and he was comfortable in the ring.
One of the funniest Bobby the Brain Heenan things is the weasel suit match.
Oh yeah,
the weasel suit match is one of the best pieces of physical comedy ever because it started out initially. I think he was wrestling. He was managing Nick Bockwinkel against the Crusher, or a various group of other people against the Crusher, and then they reinvigorated it with the Ultimate Warrior.
He did Rock and Roll Buck Zumhoff in there too.
That too. And the whole thing was he'd wrestle the match, he would get knocked out, lose, and then they put the weasel suit on, and then he would come to out of his stupor.
Yeah.
And then he would like get up and he'd look down and he saw that his hands were a little bit amiss. And then it would be like the slow realization that he's wearing the weasel suit.
Yeah.
And then he'd do the whole thing where he'd try and get it off and he'd trip over the tail and like fall on his head and just get exasperated all the way to the back. And then, I mean, he is one of the funniest. I think if anybody watched wrestling when they were a kid, I know a few people that said that they were like he was like the first comic, the first comedian that they ever became exposed to, because he was just so absolutely like his wit was amazing. My favorite line of his was the one where he when Shawn Michaels turned on Marty Jannetty.
Oh yeah,
and he was just like, "Oh my God, can you believe that coward? He just tried to jump through the window." After Shawn Michaels threw him through the window,
just obviously threw him plain as day through a window. And he goes, "The coward tried to jump out the window."
I don't know if anybody has anything to add about Bobby the Brain.
I said it. When we was kids, we were royally messed up. Because we watched too much wrestling, and our entire understanding of the way the adult world operated came from Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon.
So you just thought that's how adults interacted with one another.
Yeah, and ever since things have been difficult, but I'm still here.
Yeah, I was a big WCW guy growing up.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. Yeah,
being from the South. Yeah, I always liked his interactions, or more so retorts to Lee Marshall when Lee Marshall was doing the 1-800 reports.
Those were so bad.
Yeah, and he would always like fit in a weasel joke somehow.
Wouldn't he be a fit? It would be like a brute force shoehorn.
Yeah,
and he would be like, "Oh, there's the world's biggest ball of twine in this state, but there isn't the world's biggest weasel. That's you, Bobby Heenan." And it's just like,
whoa, what?
That's.
It almost felt like they bullied him when he was in WCW.
Yeah. I remember there was one where Marshall did it, and then Zbyszko was on commentary with him. He said, "What's this guy got against you?" I don't know, man.
I love the ones where he would just call like Lee Marshall a hack and stuff like that.
You remember when Hogan turned heel?
Yeah.
One of Heenan's only gaffes, he kind of almost spoiled that in Chivanto when everybody practically read him the riot act. It's Hulk Hogan, but what side is he on?
Yeah.
What the hell's wrong with you, Brain? Of course he's one of the good guys.
Yeah.
Well, no, but he'd always say he would always say that, right?
Because he was the one person
he hated
Hulk Hogan,
and he knew in his heart of hearts that Hulkster was evil.
Yeah.
Which
he was right.
He was
the
right.
court of
when you
public
think about
opinion
that.
has said
I was going to say, kayfabe and reality have both borne him out.
Well,
on
think
that.
about it. When we was kids, we rooted for Hogan and all these guys against guys that everybody loves now, like Bobby Heenan and Bret Hart and all these guys. Mr. Perfect, yeah. All these guys that we now love, who's booing for them. wrestling had the whole world backwards the whole time, and that's why everybody been messed up.
It turns out Warrior's a homophobe and Hogan was a racist.
Yeah, that's why WCW made more sense, because that was people just smacking the crap out of each other and fighting over like things like who got baby doll for months.
Yeah.
and PN News.
Yo baby, yo baby, yo.
PN News, the world's greatest rapper.
He was horrible, but if you ever watch the segment with Dusty and PN News and the kid from the Wonder Years that was going out with Jason Hervey, and you watch him do his yo baby yos and watch Dusty just do them big swivel hips dancing along to it, it's worth it.
PN News got fired from WCW for stealing stuff out of the locker room.
What?
He was stealing from people's lockers and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
I was wondering what happened to him.
Yeah, he was also, I think he was related to Mantar, too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you remember when PN News showed up in another promotion with a giant Mantar mask that he was stealing from people's
it wasn't the
lockers?
same guy. They were related to each other.
Oh, they were
family
relatives.
Yeah, family members, yeah.
Oh,
It wasn't like, his brother.
His name was like Paul Niu, or so the PN was his nickname. It was his initials.
Yeah.
His nickname.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Bobby the Brain Heenan was absolutely amazing. I mean, the thing with WCW, he was just doing it because he wanted the paycheck,
he wanted
right?
money,
And-
Right.
Yeah, he was paying his kids way through college
And paying
stuff
to
like
get
that.
his neck operation. Remember,
But-
he used to wear the neck brace?
Yeah.
That Pillman almost ruined.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no.
And he dropped the F-bomb. Remember?
What the fuck are you doing?
But he would occasionally have moments. Like I remember when Goldberg beat Hulk Hogan. That was like that moment when you watch that. Bobby the Brain Heenan is so amazing because like he was already like when Goldberg would come out, he would go nuts. So,
Yeah.
like he was like a fan.
Oh yeah.
But
he
when,
probably helps Goldberg as much as anybody.
Yeah, and he would like, but when he won, it's like Bobby Heenan he was going apoplectic with joy. He was just so happy. And it was one of those things where it's just like, you could tell he just loved what he was doing. In his heart of hearts, he loved what he was doing. And he was like so funny. And just like, if you look up any YouTube thing of like best Bobby Heenan stuff, you can.
Yeah, we'll find some stuff.
It's worth a watch.
We'll put it on
the
our
Christmas
Twitter.
time thing with him and Bobby Heenan fighting over Santa Claus. Excuse me, him and Roddy Piper fighting over Santa Claus.
Oh.
If you want to believe in it, where Heenan tells the kids there's no Santa Claus, and he says, you want to believe in something, believe in the Heenan family.
That's a fun.
Yeah, and Roddy Piper comes in and
Goes ape shit. What's wrong with you? What's your major malfunction? What's about you didn't get no toys as a kid? There is a Santa Claus.
Oh man.
Oh man, it's but like yeah, just the lines, like the Royal Rumble 1992, he was on fire. I mean, that's awesome. Where he not just even the Ric Flair stuff, like because Ric Flair was his guy, and Ric Flair came in third, and nobody won. They came in so early, but there was the line where Sensational Sherry comes out, and she's wearing like the corseted dress, where like I think Sensational Sherry was like the most like scantily clad woman that a lot of kids saw.
Well, she was. She was almost like a Benny Hill type figure because she was always getting like her dress ripped off or clothes because she was very physical. Because she was a wrestler.
But she was wearing like this corseted dress where it's almost like you turn the corset lacing around, like she's wearing the corset backwards, and you could see like her cleavage, her entire cleavage. And then they're walking down, and you just hear Bobby Heenan go, "Well, you look at them," and it's just like, and it's just like before you just hear it, and then you just see you see like both like $1 Million Man and Sensational Sherry walking down, and he just yells, "Well, you look at them," and you don't know. He's like, you think he's talking about that, and then they shoot to the camera of like her walking in front of him, and she's wearing that dress, and it's just like the timing is so good.
He did a lot of good cleavage jokes in that era.
Yeah.
Remember, I think he
a lot
did
of butt jokes.
Yeah, with Sherry brought out a lot of the best in him.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll you can find us on Twitter at the Goods Pod. We'll put up some of the brain's best moments there. Just so
That was a sad
know.
day for all of us. I think that was a sucky day.
Yeah, and especially because the guy had been in decline for so long.
Yeah, I mean,
that
he was.
It wasn't like sudden or shocking. It was just like, oh man.
It was just really sad because it was like he was the one. His greatest gift that he had
Was his voice.
was his voice
Yep.
and his gift of gab
Yeah.
and his wit. and because he lost, he had that jaw cancer, and so much of his jaw had to be taken away. He lost the ability to do that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
and he could do it physically. I knew people that saw him at like events and things like that, and he'd still see people, and like he would just his facial expressions, or he'd throw the finger up or something, and his timing was there, but there was like the gears were going, and then you just it's really sad to see. And then he had like all the chemo, so he was brittle, so he'd have falls and break his hip or break his shoulder and stuff, and it's just really sad to see that, and if there's a heaven, if there's an afterlife, you best believe that Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan are just doing commentary for everything.
Beverly Hills is draped in black.
Yeah.
That's right.
But
just like when Bockwinkel died.
But it was kind of a tough one, because it was like Husker Du was one of my favorite bands in high school, and Grant Hard, the drummer, died. So I was like, oh, which one? But I think just for the spirit of the show, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Absolutely. There we go.
Welcome.
Goods from the Woods Hall of Fame. Bobby the Brain Heenan. Martin, where can people find you on the internet, sir?
You can find me at martinmorrowcomedy.com. I'm on Instagram and Snapchat at Martin M. Morrow. I'm on Twitter as well. I don't tweet anymore, though. But if you just want to just follow it, and you can. People post shit.
But yeah, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/TheGoodsPod. We're on Twitter @TheGoodsPod, Spotify @TheGoodsPod. Big shout out to our friend Richard Eden, the webmaster up there in the Yukon Territory, doing the hard work at TheGoodsPod.com. Pat, what should they do when the folks get to iTunes?
Rate, review, and subscribe. Tell a friend. It shows the attitude of gratitude.
And if you don't have the attitude of gratitude, fuck you.
And song of the week this week, I also wanted to acknowledge the passing of a person who I had a very brief personal interaction with, but goddamn, one of my favorite musicians.
Everybody's dying.
I know, it's been such a shit week. Charles Bradley.
Oh, yeah.
So Charles Bradley died this week at the age of 68. He was the Screaming Eagle of Soul, and he is the poster boy for it is never too late to do what the fuck you want to do. Charles Bradley was signed to Daptone Records in 2012, and at the age of 62 put out his first record. Have you ever heard this of Charles Bradley before? Good night.
He's not a basketball player, is he?
No. He's a singer. You're gonna love this this song. So Charles Bradley was actually used to tour as a James Brown impersonator.
Okay.
Named Black Velvet.
Ooh,
and
I like that name.
And he had this amazing voice, and he did this shit for like 20, 30 years. Would just tour little bars around like the Northeast as a James Brown impersonator. And then somebody heard his voice and was like, why aren't you doing your own music? And so he got signed, wrote a bunch of songs, put out his first record in 2012, and that one's called No Time for Dreaming. He had two more records.
It's a screamer.
Victim of Love and Changes, and they're all great. And I actually got to introduce and bring Charles Bradley to the stage at the Waverly Boogie in 2013, and he put on I can usually hold my shit together during emotional songs, but just to see a guy who's living the dream at the in his mid 60s and just killing it. It was one of the most emotional like performances I've ever seen. And halfway through, the Alabama Shakes just came out and just fucking jammed with him too.
Nice.
And the funniest shit was his whole band was he's in his 60s. His whole band is a bunch of like 20-something white kids who are all like band nerds, and they all play. He's got a horn section, and he would introduce his band and he would go like, on the trumpet, give it up for, whatever the guy's name. We just call him Mayo. And then he would get to the next guy. He's like, give it up for blah, blah, blah. And everybody clap. He's like, we just call him Mayo. And he did that for the whole band. But yeah, Charles Bradley, absolutely incredible performer. All three of his records are on Spotify. And Song of the Week this week, this is The World is Going Up in Flames by Charles Bradley. R.I.P. to him and the Brain and... Oh my
Grant
God.
Hart.
Grant Hart. And
everybody else who
Democracy.
died.
yeah, that too. And we'll see you next week.
Take a knee.
Going up in flames, and nobody
Goods from the Woods was mixed, edited, and distributed by me, Rivers Langley. You can find the show on Twitter at The Goods Pod. Our theme song was composed by DJ Smiles. Check him out on Twitter at DJ Smiles.